Um, and that's the thing that each one of us has to determine. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you change your situation, you know? For some
Yeah.
people, it's early. For some people, it's later. For them, it might feel like, oh, they're disrespectful, you know? But some parents might understand and go, well, I remember what it is to be young, you know?
Mm,
So,
mm.
so it's kind of like that. So in my case, it was extreme, you know? She didn't understand that, so I did everything in under the table. I did everything sneaky. She didn't know.
I guess you needed to kind of like to release, right?
I needed to. But
Yeah.
here's the problem. Back in those days, they used to smoke in the clubs, weed, cigarettes. So I'd come home
Smelling.
smelling like the club. And that would start a whole nother argument.
I can see that.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God. Archie, why you coming back from the house smelling like the devil's work? Out there, listen to that bongo, that bongo. Go to your God, go to your God. And I'd be like, wow, chill, chill, chill. She would just go off, you know. But this is what I had to deal with, you know. But you know what? In the end, you know, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, But here's the thing. Once I found a home of acceptance, because what the underground was for all of us, we were misfits, which means we didn't fit into what society said we should do. Oh, you should now mind you people, I'm not knocking these jobs, but this is an example. Oh, you should sit down and be a doctor and get your BFA and blah 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 and get married and have two kids and have a house and a fence and blah 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 blah. Well,
Mm,
who the hell made that up?
mm.
Life is not
Like
the
a
same for everyone.
proper, like under
Exactly.
description, like this is how it should be. Yeah.
Exactly. And you and I and all of you out there know that life is not a simple equation like that.
Mm,
That's a choice, you know? But you
mm.
have to figure out what is the right choice for you. And sometimes that may cause you some kind of pain and discomfort. And the reason why I say that because we all want to please our parents, right? But at the sacrifice of your own happiness, uh, well, that's where you have to kind of weigh that, you know?
Yeah. There needs to be certain balance, I believe.
Yeah, I
You
think so.
know.
I think so.
Yeah. Nice,
It's
nice.
not that difficult, but it's let's put it this: it's difficult if you look at it as a problem.
Yeah.
If you look at it as, okay, a friend of mine told me this a long time ago. He said, Archie, there's no such thing as problems. There are only solutions. Perception, right? If you look at it as a perception, okay, I get it. There you go.
I think is it with everything in life, right? Like everything has a kind of like how to solve it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
sometimes it may not be the answer that may be most comfortable for you or the one that you like.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
That's the lesson.
there you go.
That's the lesson. All
Mm.
right. Uh, music, clubs, and hustle.
Mm. Yes.
How did it came around? When did I think you saw actually, or like you learned hustle like on a street before the clubbing, right?
Everybody did. Everybody did.
How how did the hustle came uh, from the street to club?
Well, here's the thing. The roots of hustle is like mambo, right?
Yeah,
And guys, as far as I'm concerned, the only hustle is the Latin hustle, and that's only because it's the Puerto Ricans that did that. The Latin people did that. You know, that's the real shit. Excuse my French. They're the ones that did that. So back in the day, the black kids and the Latin kids used to hang out a lot, share the same conditions, social environments, and this, that, and the other. So when these parties hit and people were doing this dance, the dance came in around 1971, 72. You know, um, Willie Estrada has a whole big thing about what happened in the Bronx and the older
yeah,
cats,
yeah.
what the younger kids are doing, blah blah.
We
That
actually had amazing talk because he was the second guest after you last year for the
oh
show. So I remember we had like maybe like 2.5 hours talk about like the whole thing. How did it start? Like the gang wars.
Yeah,
How
he's
did
the
it like
bomb.
save people's life and all
He's
this?
the bomb.
That was amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
He's the bomb. You
yeah.
know. So with all that going down, I said, well, okay. Back in those days, nobody actually said, "Hey, I'm going to teach you this dance." No. You can ask any one of us. Everybody was clicky back then. Everybody was shady back then, and would only
Mhm.
dance with the person that they knew because it was about showing the
Time.
spotlight, having the flash, and blah blah blah. So all of us had to look and figure it out. All of us, you know. Then when you have a whole bunch of people that know each other, that's the only time when they start sharing. But up till that time, no. You look, you try to figure it out, and then I got a funny story. So nobody would teach me. Nobody back then. The only person that taught me was Roma, and you have to interview her. Roma Irizarry. She's the only person that
Can
taught
you
me.
say? Can you say the name again?
Roma, Roma, Irizarry, Irizary. Yeah, Irizarry. She's the only one that taught me. So here's the funny thing. Nobody paid me any mind back then. But when you become the it guy, then everybody wants to dance with you.
Mm,
Now, I kind of laugh at it because, that's the nature of young people. You know, it's like, yeah, 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 I got to have the flash, da, da, da. I get it. You know, um, looking back at the whole thing, it's a certain street code, like it's a rite of passage, so to speak. You know, you kind of have to be not paid attention to and looked over until you get your chops, and then they go, oh. But then again, it kind of helped because I was built like a brick house. Gag. Back in those days, boy, I was like, I look so good, I'd have dated me. How about that?
yeah.
Woo! And when the
I mean, I'm not
physicality came,
surprised. Like when we all see like the pictures, how did you look like?
can you imagine that? And all,
I have to be quiet to be honest because that was amazing.
and you know what? And you know what? All that was, was going to the gym every day and dancing every night. That's all it was. And we didn't do things like come in at 10, leave at 2. No, we would come in at midnight and leave the next day at 1 in the afternoon. Those are
Yeah,
the kind of hours that we did. And every time, during the week, there was always a place to go for free.
yeah,
So we would go there too.
yeah,
So about the clubs now, there was
yeah.
Ipanema, there was Ice Palace. Ice Palace was fierce. Ice Palace was fierce. There was Peppermint Lounge. There was I didn't do Galaxy Starship, but that's the one that everybody used to go to. Um, I did Broadway 96, which later on became Broadway International on 96th Street and Broadway. Um, Regine's was the commercial club that they used to do hustle in a lot.
Which one?
Um,
I'm sorry.
Regine's, Regines, I think it's called Regine's. Yeah,
Mhm.
Regine's. Um, Naturally, Roseland, that was the big one. Roseland was huge. Everybody would roll up in there. Gotham's West. Um, Ones, which was 111 Hudson Street. Well, I remember all of these because the thing with us, we had to hit every club, every club. Obviously, there was the Copacabana we used to hit, you know, the Latin Quarter. Um, which one? My personals, the Latin Quarter. Um, Now the funny thing is, in the underground, like places like the Garage, you can find hustle there, but it wasn't like a prevalent thing. It was more so everybody freestyling and doing what they feel. You would see couples doing that. Um,
So these clubs that you just said,
yeah,
they were more most likely like for open public.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
That's
so it wasn't like in the underground clubs kind of thing.
no, 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 no. Because here's the thing with that dance throughout the whole world or throughout all the nation, when hustle came to being, no matter where you were in any part of the country, everybody knew how to do some form of the dance. When it started to filter over to Europe, you guys called it your version Disco Fox,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know? But that was, once again, Europe's trying to understand what the dance was if you don't have somebody from you teaching you. Because back in those days, the only information that you could get was either VHS
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
catch a little
That's it.
something on
Yeah,
TV.
yeah, yeah.
You so you know, it was a partner dance that was made for just that, for getting together. There's a different feeling when you're in charge of exchanging with someone. Everybody who does this dance, you know that. Um, the important thing is that when that came out, um, everybody had to have some of it. And just like Willie Estrada said, a lot of those cats don't realize all the b-boys knew how to hustle. They had to. They had to. Because how you gonna make nice with the lady right there? You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you could hustle, she was in like that. Because every girl wants a boy that can dance. Every last one. Now, yeah, there were. Now here's a funny thing. So in my lifetime, back in those days, the leaders had to learn how to follow. They had to.
And
And
this
here,
is where we're going now because I had actually a question for you about this.
mm,
How was it in the clubs
mm,
when woman was dancing with a woman and man was dancing with a man?
oh,
How was this kind of like changing roles part, that men needed to know how to follow and opposite? Well,
okay.
how did like this came around as well with this all together?
Well, it was the gay men. It was the gay men that made that happen because those fellas, oh my God, those cats can dance their ass off. Oh my God. What? Here's the thing. When you're dancing with a male, there's a bit more strength in the fact that men are heavier, and those guys had to learn how to control that weight, how to control that torque. For women who are naturally lighter than men, mostly in weight, lighter than men,
Yeah,
they're easier to navigate. So it's easier for them to follow. The creativity, a lot of that came from the gay men with the arms and the patterns and all of that. Um, and the funny thing is, what the gay men would do, they would pick up a woman as their kind of like their mascot, you know, like, oh yeah, she's fierce. Let me, like play Barbie. Oh, she's fierce. Let me do her hair. Oh, oh girl, you don't wear that. Wear this. Oh, up, get rid of those heels. Do that. And they would dress them up, and they would hustle with them. And by them hustling with them, and the fact that these gay men knew how to follow, they were better leads. So the young ladies didn't have to work as hard. When they would turn, their arm in the middle of their shoulder wouldn't hurt because the guy was not disconnected to what
yeah,
she was doing and wouldn't pull her out of the turn or all of that. Because obviously you have to, if as a lead, you have to give your follow room. You have to. You
yeah,
have to. You know these things, and these are natural things, that natural common sense that was manifested through all of that partying and all of that hanging out and all of that. They didn't go to an Arthur Murray school. I'm gonna tell you something was really funny. Back in those days, so Arthur Murray decided, these schools decided to hold hustle, right? So the funny thing is they were doing hustle by the ABCs, right? And in the hood, I'm gonna be frank, y'all. We used to say that shit was corny. It was
okay,
corny. It was straight up corny. It was nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. Devoid of soul, devoid of flavor, devoid of all of that. Now, dance is for everybody. I get it. but it was also kind of like a partial diss and a partial joke because the dance was born in the street,
Yeah.
in the club, in the street, and now put in this sterile setting. But yes, everybody's supposed to be able to dance, and everybody's supposed to be able to express themselves that way. I'll tell you a funny story. So around here, and this was like at least 10 years ago, there was an Arthur Murray's dance studio over here. So, my wife, she hustled a little, but me teaching her is always an issue because, men and women,
Yeah.
when you're married and stuff like that, she didn't want to listen. She wanted to do her own thing. Okay, get it, you know? So she decided she wanted to take hustle lessons at Arthur Murray. Fine.
Okay.
So she was taking hustle lessons at Arthur Murray. So I came, dropped her off, support her. So they had the social. So I come in, you know, and one of the teachers, a Latin woman, one of the teachers um, at the social, she said, I was sitting there. She said, okay, dance with me. So I worked out. After I worked out, she looked at me and went, wow, you you really dance well. And I had
Yeah.
to kind of laugh because she was much younger, of course. She was like, she didn't grow up in that era, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, well, just saying, not to overstate it or understate it, but everybody grew up like this in the
Yeah.
70s. Everybody. So
I'm sorry.
here's
It was like a dance that everybody danced at home, right? Like
everybody
with
did.
parents, with cousins, with
Everybody did.
siblings. Yeah. Yeah.
And then forget it when Star Search came out and when it started coming on TV, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
Everybody had to hustle. Sometimes that hustle was a hassle, but
Yeah.
but everybody was trying to do it. We used to get the funny situations where people just want to do it so bad and didn't want to pay attention to the rules, and you're trying to turn somebody and they're holding onto your finger for dear life, and they think like your finger rotates on its own. So you're like, oh, 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 let go, let go, let go. Hilarious. Oh my God. You can imagine. And then there was a time when punk rock came in. And this is around 84? Yeah, 84, 85, where the whole punk craze was in. I want to be sedated. Da, da, da. So all of the gear, everybody started to wear spike chains and spike bracelets and all of that.
Yeah.
Mind you, hustle was still going on in the clubs. So
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine the girls with the spike chains and the spike bracelets, when they would throw their hand out, if you were in the way, you got cut, you got spiked. So we call it you getting spiked. So what we would do is that's why they would open up in the club because you have to understand in the early 70s the dance was
That's
made.
interesting. Okay.
Oh, yeah. In the early 70s the dance was made basically as a line dance. You're going back and forth in your track. So can you imagine on a crowded dance floor, the lead's job was to make sure that he found a path, an open path to throw the follow. So it not only became a line dance, it had to become an omnidirectional dance because, some people really had no sense of space.
Yeah.
And you
It's
don't want
still
people to get
today.
hurt. But sometimes you get spiked, you know, and that's how that happened. So when you open it up, here's a trick we used to do too. If the place was so tight and you really wanted to open up, you had to follow, do all of these big arm movements like that. Soon as a person feels that wind go by their face, they go, whoa, 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 and
Yeah.
automatically it opens
Yeah.
up.
It's open up.
You get that space. That's what the trick they used to do.
Uh, that's
Physics,
crazy.
what you want, physics.
That's crazy. Uh, what was the what was the music like in the beginning of when
Okay,
hustle started to be in clubs? I
okay.
believe I believe it was obviously it was disco era. The dance was made kind of
Yes,
like disco
disco
music,
era.
so it was obviously disco. But disco has a I feel like disco has a many types of discos. Like
Well, yeah, let's put it this way. Disco became a formula after a
okay,
while.
okay,
First eight, it's this instrument. The next eight is that instrument. The next eight. And when it started to get really messed up is when they started using disco as a formula. Um, South Soul Orchestra used to do fully orchestrated pieces, which were amazing. You know,
Mm.
Giorgio Moroder did wonderful pieces that were amazing. Cerrone did wonderful pieces that were amazing. But when the money thing got into saying, okay, let's make a quick disco hit, everybody started to make disco songs that had nothing to do with disco. Ethel Ethel Merman had a disco song. She's a swimming diva from the 1940s. Esther Phillips had a song, "What a Difference a Day Makes." She ain't no disco diva, but it was a trend. It was what you call manufactured garbage music after a while.
Hmm.
So you really have to look for certain gems that were fully orchestrated that had something to say, you know?
I think so. That was kind of like, I think we're talking about like 1882, 3 or more.
Maybe more, because I think um, I saw the documentary the other day of when the official disco sucks thing and how that actually happened, you know, and how certain things happened by accident, but then they blew it up to a big
Yeah,
this, the other, and it killed a lot of, especially I was looking at the Bee Gees documentary. It killed their prospective sales in all of that, where music was changing and this and the other. Bottom line is this, you know, music, there's always going to be a crowd that's going to love whatever that thing is. You have to
yeah,
understand when those people are putting things out for you to see or to hear, they're trying to dictate where you go.
yeah,
They're trying to dictate. I mean, look at the fashion people. Hey, today's color is blue. Who the fuck said that? They just decide to say that and have everybody say, today's blue. Same thing with back then. You know, this is a hit. I guarantee you this. There was also payola, which is um, DJs would get paid money to play a certain song over and over and over and over and over again on the radio till you got sick and tired of it and it stayed in your head.
yeah,
And the song sucked.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. It's
but
happening
then
today.
and there was a big lawsuit, big investigation about all of that. You know, playing I forgot exactly how they labeled it, but it was like payola for songs, and DJs were taking money that were in the radio. You know, you leave a little bit room for some kind of corruption, it'll be there. Let the song speak for itself. But see, you have to remember this is a money industry, so that's that side of that coin. So the
Hmm.
music itself was very important, but you had to kind of sift through the really good songs, because after a while you can interchange one song with another, and
Yeah,
that's not good music. It's not. It's just not. I mean, you guys now could see the whole library and pick and choose, you know, what's really good for you and what's not. But there was a lot of garbage music out there. I mean, garbage. Oh, it was so bad that you can predict what was going to happen. Okay, here's the first aid. Oh, here comes the bridge. Oh, okay. You know, and then you feel you're wasting time. You know, that's why for you guys, it's new music. For me, it's old music. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
so I can't really say that the songs that suck to me, y'all might like. You know, I
Of
mean,
course, I
I can't
mean,
make a judgment.
everybody got different tastes,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And that's like with everything. But
yeah.
what would you say in that case? What was the golden era of disco music?
Had to be 77. I was out of high school. Um, yeah, that was 77. Love is the Message was playing then. 77 to 79. Those years for disco, it was hot. It was on fire. And for hustle, it was on fire. Mm,
I
mm.
know there is a really good documentary on YouTube, um, about exactly about this year, 77. It's not exactly about dance or about like
Hmm.
music, but it's about it's all about New York.
Oh
New
yeah.
York, New York, the best year 1977, and they talking a lot of things. So for people who just want to like, if you just want a bit of research like about this year, there is a really amazing documentary on YouTube, free. So yeah, go for it.
Hmm.
Um,
Very good.
so 77 to 79.
Mm.
Uh, did you actually go like to like a live concert? Like was it happening like a lot, or it
Oh,
was kind
I'm
of
gonna
like
tell you
a like
something
on a street?
funny. That's so funny. So in those days, it would you if you didn't have money, you'd be hanging out at the handball court,
Yeah,
or you'd take a trip up to the Bronx, and we would dance in a park, basically like a handball court. I think basically because it was smooth and level.
yeah.
We didn't hustle in the grass. We kind of did that, but we were doing it so much when these early opportunities came. There was a show called um, Soul Alive, and the
So
guy and the guy's name was Jerry Bledsoe, Bledsoe. He was the MC. I was on that show. David Padilla was on that show. Actually, David Padilla won the dance contest on that show. It was a New York televised show, kind of like a Soul Train, but for hustle. Uh,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
what was the name of the show again?
Soul Alive. You can find only one clip of it on, no, about three clips of it on YouTube. Grace Jones performed on that show, singing Do or Die, which was a big hustle record. Bump, 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 bump. Yeah, Do or
Okay.
Die. Grace Jones, Do or Die. Yeah. And you'll see exactly how things went. Um, and that show was just the beginning of that whole disco craze. In Jersey, there was another dance show called Soap Factory.
Soul
Um,
Factory.
Soap, SOAP,
So okay.
Factory. Look it up on YouTube. You'll see that also. Soap Factory. Because, once the trend hit, they were like, yeah, yeah, we got to put more of this on TV. We got to put more of this on TV. And the one out of LA was, oh God, what was it called? Um, Wild. Oh, Wild. Shoot, it's on the tip of my tongue. It'll come back to me.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
there was
that's
a
fine.
dance show out of LA, same thing. What it pertained to hustle. Um, Dallas was on that show. Denny Terrio, I think, was the guy that. Um, no, lies. Jeff Kutash. It was Jeff Kutash who had that show in California. Now, mind
Okay.
you, the way California did the hustle was totally different than the way New York did the hustle. New York's version of the hustle was smooth. California's version of the hustle was a bit more aggressive. It would be rough by New York standards, meaning more violent. Not like in and when I use violent, guys, I don't mean like beating the girl to death. I mean um, the way the energy was throwing the girl out and pulling her in.
Yeah,
It seemed like a hell of a lot of work.
yeah.
It seemed like a hell of a lot of work. But
But
it
why
was it
why
was like
why was that?
because LA, it was a totally different genre, totally different. You know,
Okay.
their partner dancing, I believe their partner dancing was just like how we say the dance originated in New York City, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not cross pollinating, meaning if you're not traveling to New York City and going back to LA, you're doing what everybody else does. Look,
Mm,
see what you can grab, and try and figure it out.
yeah.
The easiest thing for a person to see is push, pull, push, pull. That's the easiest thing that they can see, right? They don't know about the intricacies because you're not hanging out in New York.
Or about the connection, or about
Yeah,
like
they don't know that.
any. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand you.
They don't
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
that. But they created their own, inspired by New York, calling it the hustle. But I'll tell you a story. Rest his soul. My brother-in-law, who passed away, Tyrone. When Tyrone came to New York, um, how we met at the Hustle Studio. And Tyrone was standing on the wall, and I come in with my dancing partner Millie, and just to hustle. It was at Broadway 96 actually, and so I hustled with her a little while. He runs over to me and he says, "Dance with me," and I go, okay. So when I start to hustle with him, he was hustling the way he was following the way that they do in LA,
Yeah.
which was he was whacking as he was dancing, and he was jumping up and stomping his feet really hard, like bam, and it was more outward expressive. And I remember everybody in the studio was looking at us like, "What's that?"
Uh,
It made sense to me why he was standing there because nobody would dance with him because for them he was too
too much.
extra, he was too
Yeah.
much because you're supposed to be smooth. So after we do the dance, I go back to my dancing partner. Then he goes to me again. When are we going to dance again? I'm like, I don't know. And then I didn't see him for 8 months, and then I happened to bump into him in a iBus in a store. But that's the thing between LA and New York. They've always had a weird kind of dumb rivalry back
Yeah.
then. You know, that's why
I mean,
Locking never really picked up here.
yeah.
Locking never really picked up here because in New York we thought that shit was corny. Don't disrespect to the lockers, but we thought the shit was corny. It was
Yeah.
nice to see, but nobody was going in the club trying to, maybe in LA, but not in New York. At least
Yeah.
not that I saw. Anybody gonna be wearing no suit in no suit in these after work joints trying to lock. Uh-uh. They weren't gonna do that. So that's how that was.
How what was kind of like the main thing that dancers like stood up at the party? What
What
was
do
the
you,
thing?
what do
Like
you mean?
they stood up, like they were stood out, stood
Oh,
out.
sit out.
So yeah,
Okay.
so they were, sorry, my English.
Oh no, no, that's
So
okay. That's okay. That's okay.
they so they were a bit different, or
I'll tell
they,
you.
yeah, yeah,
The the dancers that stood out is now usually it's the follow that the focus was on because this dance was created to highlight the follow. So what usually stood out was how the follow used their arms in their turns and their footwork.
mm-hmm.
Because even back in those days, everybody wanted to do the lifts and everybody wanted to do the drops and all of that stuff. I think I showed you some when I was over there a long
Yeah,
time ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Everybody wanted to do those drops and all of that stuff. But the true nature and the real beauty and the only way you get respect is that footwork. Those follows, if you see that foot, remember a long time ago I showed you that little weird back step
yeah,
when
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, when you're dancing under yourself and you're doing all of this fancy footwork, that with the intricate turns, that's what stood out. Now, for the lead, what really stood out was the lead's combination repertoire. You know, even till today, I still feel I'm a limited dancer. There are people with combination repertoires that just happen naturally. You know, the bigger your repertoire is, and in the lifetime of hustle, every lead, what a lead is supposed to do is add on, add on, add on, add on to their dance DNA, and just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the issue that I've always had is I don't care what you're doing. If you're not clear in your lead, your follower won't know what to do. It doesn't
Mm.
matter if the person knows the dance. It doesn't matter if the person's been dancing. If you're not clear, they can't know what's in your head. Because this dance was made so that no matter where you went in the world, you could lead somebody. They know what to do. So
There is
that's
one
usually where I come from.
there is one quote that I got from you, and that is, follow is the time, and lead is the line, follow is the time.
Yes, yes.
And that's something
Lead-
like every time when I'm teaching as well, I always say that, like, that
mhm.
I got it from you, because I think it's such a strong sentence.
It's true. You don't rush,
Lead,
you follow.
leaders are the line, followers are the time,
Hmm.
and it's something to think about as well for like the whole
For
generation
everything,
of dancers, you know.
for everything. And here's the thing: what I love about hustle, because hustle is a metaphor for life. And let me
Yeah.
explain. Let me explain. Sometimes in life, you have to give up control and let somebody else lead you. Sometimes you have to trust in life.
Mm.
The biggest thing behind this dance is that it's a trust issue. That's why that exercise that I was telling you guys about, where you close your eyes and you have no sense but the feel of
Yeah.
when somebody's taking you back, that's a trust issue. If the person's fighting you, it basically tells you where they are in their life.
Ooh.
It's just clear. It's not rocket science, guys. If it
This
if it
is
looks like a duck,
strong.
it's true. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and the bitch got feathers, it's not a cow. Duh. You know, it tells you where they are. You know, I'll tell you this. Some women, and this is for some, not all, some women who are so in control of their life and they will not allow anybody to dictate what they do and where they go. They fight for their independence. It's hard to lead them because they'll fight you all the time. So the exercise that I simply do is what I was telling T-Boy here. You have them close their eyes.
Yeah.
Once you're disoriented and close your eyes, you have no choice but to feel what is happening. That's part of the experience because, your eyes are always the second check. Your feeling is your first check. But unfortunately, people are trying to do it reverse. They're trying to have their eyes be the first check. No. For instance, how many times, and see, Tibor, you're advanced. So how many times do you do blind turns and blind moves?
Yeah.
Because you trust that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Yeah.
trust it, you know, and that's an issue. You
Yeah.
have to trust your partner. You have to. You have to, you know.
It's
And
really
oh, sorry,
it,
go ahead.
it's really interesting that you're saying this because uh, I'm taking partner dance in general as a therapy as
Oh,
well,
it is. It is. Oh,
right?
please, it is.
And
Right, it is.
and I feel like that many times, oh my god, many times I had a student in a class that like when you start dancing with them, you straight away you feel like
Yep.
there is something off.
Yep.
There is either like the exactly what you
Yep.
were saying, and it's so true that you can actually read the person
Yeah.
even without talking to them,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
you don't even have to know, I don't even have to know your name, but I already can feel like if we actually could have a nice connection, or we probably not gonna have a connection or like a nice dance because you kind of like you have to take, you don't let me take care of of
Exactly.
the moment, but you always need to be the one who is on the top of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the issue of the whole thing. How
Mm-hmm.
is there something else that you would say like how to overcome this thing, um if it's if it's not like just like with blinding the person?
I know what you mean. Here's what I do also. Um, you have to create an atmosphere for your follow that makes them not feel that it's you're taking them that serious. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, when I dance with somebody that doesn't know the dance, I laugh at, I joke, I laugh, I go, "Come on,
Yeah,
girl, come get it, come get it."
yeah,
You
yeah,
know what that does? It relaxes them to know that, oh, I can play. Because here's the thing: as we get older, we forget the most important thing that children have is play. You have to play. In order for you to grow, you have to play. That is something that doesn't leave you, especially in dance. If you approach, I've had dancers approach this thing, they're so tight because they're so afraid to make a mistake. And I'm like, a mistake? Are you kidding me? A mistake? You should never have stress. in dance. Sorry, got to tell you that, guys. You should never. It should flow just like you breathe. You know, the only way that happens is you have to realize, don't take yourself that serious. Don't. Why would you? You know, of course, it's nice to know I know this step, I know that step. But if you stress on it, you're doing more damage than good. Who wants to do the dance and come out like, whoo, damn, oh, I never had a nervous breakdown. Who wants that? Duh. It looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and the bitch got feathers. It's not a cow. Come on. You know, it's not rocket science, guys.
Yeah.
You're allowed. See, here's the thing. Even in those circles, it was kind of like how you guys have ciphers. Only the good dancers would be out there, and people would stress because they want to be in that big circle, but they knew that I got to get my chops up before I go to the big circle.
Yeah.
But if you look outside of the circle, everybody was doing on the job training. You know, when you have a nurturing place that allows you to train and dance free of judgment, that's how you grow. That's
Yeah.
exactly how you grow. And what 9 times out of 10 happens, couples stay together and practice what they practice, and they rarely interchange with other people.
Someone else. Yeah.
Here's the thing that I want to tell you. The way you grow is that you have to interchange with other people. You have to. How do you know if I practice with my wife a certain thing and we got that down pat, and I try that with somebody else and they don't know it? You know what's wrong with that? What's wrong is that they have to know the trick in order to do it. That's not
Hmm.
dance. That is not dance. Your lead has to be so clear that whatever you do, if you dance with a stranger, they would know exactly what to do. That's what I'm talking about. That's the power of a good lead, you know? And that takes work. And what basically that is, it's about dynamics, it's
Yeah.
about resistance, it's about clarity. You don't change your mind in the middle of a move. You don't
Yeah.
change your mind in the middle of a direction. It's about fully committing and not half stepping. And you have to commit to a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, because we all learn from that.
Exactly. Because if you don't commit to a mistake, you could hurt your partner.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh, you as a pioneer of whacking voguing as well. Uh, were the hustle in these clubs as well.
oh yeah. I mean, it was the 70s. You know, in the 70s, here's the thing, everything that you grow up with, you do.
Mm,
There was no separation. See, in your lifetime, all these dances are here. But back then, they weren't even invented yet. So you had a certain amount of time to live in hustle. You had a certain amount of time to live in Vogue. You had a certain amount of time to live in freestyle. You had a certain amount of time to live in, let's say, crumping, because crumping
okay.
wasn't around in the 70s. You had a
Yeah.
certain time to live in that. So when you see people who've lived through that, there's a certain seasoning that they have. You know,
Mm,
it's like when you cook food. If you cook food or meat on a slow fire for a long amount of time, the meat gets tender and it has a certain kind of richness. If you cook it on a quick fire, the meat is going to be all tough and all of that. The hardest job that all of you have is that all of these dance forms are here now. So how can you be great at everything? You have to
yeah.
pick and choose what you like and spend a certain amount of time in that. You know, you guys are growing up now with all of these things here. Sorry, guys, you're going to have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Nobody can do 1,000 things, all of these dance forms, and be perfect at it. Hate to tell you, it's not going to work. You know, these are lifetime dances. These are dances that speak of the kids, of the people. These are dances that speak of their journey, of the times hanging out, of their trouble, their strife. God, God rest his soul, Floyd Chisholm. He was something else. Now, you know, as amazing as he was, he had some demons. That you'd go, huh? Him? Yeah. But that talent that he had, a lot of people were like that. They had this amazing talent, but because they're real people, They had that other thing, you know, that may not necessarily fit with that talent. That's real
Yeah,
life. And I
yeah,
think, and I basically think that's what gives the dance flavor. All of those idiosyncrasies that people have, meaning those characteristics and personality and passion and drive and all of that stuff makes that dance what it was. That's why when it got to the ballroom, it sucked because all of that was taken from it. Now, correct? Let's put it this way. I'm not going to totally hate on the ballroom because what the ballroom does, it made that dance a sport. What you
yeah,
see there is not dance as far as I'm concerned. It's a sport.
yeah,
You know, it's devoid of real emotion. All that, that's
yeah,
fake emotion, man. Who does that shit? Really?
yeah.
If
You
you're really
feel,
feeling something,
you feel it's fake.
it is fake.
Yeah.
If you're feeling something, you should feel it. What's wrong with feeling it? That's the problem that we have. In society, we're so closed off like this. It's almost like you're looked down upon if you allow yourself to feel.
Mm,
And I hate to tell you, this dance was made on real feeling. The only way you're going to get that is to allow yourself to let the feeling happen. You got to let it happen. If you don't let it happen, you might as well dance by the ABCs and say, okay, well, that's only one level. Because every one of you, when you feel it really for the first time, and you will in your journey, you'll fight your whole life to get that feeling again. Trust me.
I trust you, 100%.
And then you're gonna go, oh shit, click, click. Archie did say that. Damn, yeah, that's right. Watch. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. But the only way you can do that, you have to allow yourself to be all the way in. Let the music do what it does. Feel it. Enjoy it. Experiment. Have fun. Make mistakes. Because let me tell you something. The best moves are the worst mistakes. About,
Yeah, 100%,
you know,
100%.
right? And I'm sure all of you have been there, you know. So get it in. I mean, look, this dance, the how do you call it? The the vocabulary on this dance is increasing with every generation. You guys are increasing it with what you do, you know? All I'm saying is that whatever you do, increase your vocabulary with clarity.
Mm,
You understand? Not like, okay, well, I'm just going to throw this together because it looks good. It has to make physical sense. It has to. So that if I don't know what you do and I say, okay, lead me, I should know exactly what you do by the way you lead me into it. Does it make sense?
of course.
There you go.
And especially how you feel while doing it as well.
Let me tell you something. I gotta say, guys, back in the day with us learning how to follow, I'm sorry, following is fun. It's fun. It's fun.
I
When
love to
you
follow.
follow, oh my God, it's so much fun. And I kept saying to myself when it first happened way back then, I was like, damn, I'm missing this. Because these roles were stuck in gender positions. Males lead, females follow.
Yeah.
And when you're doing that, a lot of the guys were hurting the girls because they were just cranking them, thinking like I'm cranking a car. But there's a physical thing that happens in order to gently, even if it looks quick, gently move them in there so that it doesn't hurt and the physics work. But how's he going to know that unless you put his ass in that position, then see what happens? The funniest thing I do is when a person that's never followed before, you know, I manhandled him. I said, okay,
Mm.
guy, I'm gonna lead you. He goes, what? I'm gonna lead you. And I manhandle him. He's like, oh shit, whoa, whoa, shit, whoa. And I said, you see, now, what do you think she feels? It's very simple. You have to take care, you know. But it's a beautiful thing. When I see you young people dance and getting together with each other, the important thing is you're dancing with each other. You're not dancing at each other. That's the important.
Ah, that's a nice one too.
Yeah, man. It's that hip hop shit that did that. You know, it's not a battle. It's a social dance. You can't be
Mm.
fighting two people. That doesn't make any sense. You know, you should be into your person, into your partner, into the beauty of what you're doing. Feel like you're creating. You know, I know for the follow, for them, it's like with all these turns and arm movements, I'm creating patterns. If you had to draw a line, I'm creating patterns in the sky that work, you know? And each pattern is beautiful and each pattern is different. That's the game, you know? You know? And then when you put your little sass into it and attitude, and
Yeah,
the same thing goes for the lead. There's room for the lead to do all of that too, you know? But the lead can't be carrying on like this with no connection to the follow. It makes no sense.
yeah,
Because you might as well just freestyle. you know, that's what I'm saying. You can do whatever you want, but the issue is you have to have connection to this. This is a partner dance. You have to have connection to your partner. Period.
and I think that this is another, like, let's say for myself,
Mm-hmm.
um how I feel is depends on the music,
Mm,
right? So
mm.
when we were talking about this, like, open up to the music, to me is that I need to feel the music. I need to feel like the flow of the rhythm, or like the taste of the sauce of the music, to make
Mm.
me feel, a certain way, and not to be, as you were saying, like in the ballroom, like just like it's
Yeah,
it's it's
yeah,
it's really fake. And
yeah.
now I'm going to the point again when I think like music is so much, so important, like
It
so
is.
underrated for the, especially I would say for the hustle dancers, because I've been to many practices or many socials like around the world when I travel,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm hearing what these people listen to
Mm.
while they're dancing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, is many times it's kind of like, I would say, like you just play radio, and you're
Yeah.
just focusing all the time during the whole social just on your moves.
That's not it.
You
That's
know what
not
I
it.
mean? And I
That's
feel like this is part of it.
oh, that's not
Why
it.
it's hard to keep hustle alive, because there is missing this beauty thing as a which is music.
You
You
know
know what I
something?
mean?
You know something? I want everybody here to do this as an example. Forget the dance for a minute. How do you hear music? That's the key. Does music really move you? That's the
Mm.
key. Because I'm sure every one of you has a song that you really, really like. And when you dance to that song, it changes your whole feeling. Maybe you get butterflies in your stomach. Maybe you start sweating. Maybe you start getting so antsy that
Gives you
that
memory or something. Yeah.
exactly. The key to all of this is how you're listening to music and how music affects you. Because if music is not your prima, primero, your first, you're done. Trust me on this one. Then you just become an ABC dancer. Just ABC it. Go ahead. ABC it.
Mm.
The true work of a head, and I mean club head, which means dancing all night long till the last record drops, till you're dancing in 1 a.m. I guarantee you, none of you are doing that.
Yeah.
You're not dancing from the time you get in to leave at 1 a.m. And I'm 62, and if it wasn't for Miss Ronisha that shut the world down, my ass would be in the club right now doing the
Oh, hell
same
yeah.
thing. You know?
If
So
so,
here's
we will be all together, I believe.
the doggone right. So here's the thing you have to decide. What is the passion? That word is a big word, passion.
Mm.
That means feeling. That means not doing this thing where you can't breathe. That means you can't wait to hear your next song. You can't wait to be with another person to just physically move. If anything COVID did is make all of you in withdrawal. Oh yeah. Y'all are in withdrawal right now Because y'all should be antsy right now to get out there to dance with somebody.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hell
That's what
yeah.
COVID is doing. And maybe that may have you connect with your passion again.
Yeah.
It
Because
might.
let's say I remember I had many moments when I was at the party, and like those moments when the music just leads you somewhere to another galaxy, and you don't even know what's actually going on, what's happening, who is
Right.
around you, who is looking at
Right.
you. And I think this is the most beautiful moment when you find out of nowhere that you are crawling on the ground,
Mm,
and I don't
mm,
know what else in the me
mm.
in the same time as you dancing with someone. I'm not talking now necessary that it necessarily needs to be hustle.
No, I know what
It
you
could
mean. Yes,
be,
yes.
you know uh, any kind of connection, dancing together.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens many times, obviously, that you just get lost in it so much. And
Hmm.
I have to give shout outs to Four to the Floor guys from London,
Oh,
because
oh,
you've been there many times. You've been there many times.
oh.
Yeah, Four to the Floor guys. It's
Every last one of
I
you,
really miss you guys.
four to the floor will tear
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah,
back out.
yeah,
It'll tear your
yeah,
back out. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
They That was the party. That was, oh my
That's
god,
right.
that was the party where that someone's got your back that month.
Let me
Like
tell you something. That
you
party,
know it.
I cried like a bitch at that
Yeah,
party.
yeah, yeah.
I was
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I had so many moments recently. I was just talking to Bugsy, and my funny thing is when I'm at the party and when I'm getting to my zone,
hmm
I
hmm
start I start to whack. I don't know how this
Oh wow.
is
Word.
coming out, but I start to whack, and I love it, and I love that feeling of it. And I was just talking to Bugsy that I really miss being at the party, and especially with him, because he can take that feeling out of me when he's dancing with me, right?
Hmm.
And so many times it happens at this party in a book club in London, and
Oh, that
this is the
party.
moment. But I mean, it's just like with so many other people just dancing around, Inga, Anita,
Unbelievable.
whoever,
Unbelievable.
you're dancing with
Unbelievable.
them, and you just find yourself on the floor, and you're just thinking
Unbelievable.
like, wait, how did I get here? But it's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
beautiful to stay in. And I
Exactly. And you
think this
have
is
to
the
do that.
connection, like, to the music that we're missing, kind of thing.
Hmm. So I guess you guys have homework. The homework is, excuse my French, but play shit that you like.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And I
know,
would say even like uh, train more to or like dance more to the things that we actually like,
that you like.
because this is, yeah, that's the thing. Like, so many times I went to a jam, and I
Hmm.
had like such a, like the mood, that mood, like when you're like, oh my god, I'm going to jam today, like after work or after a long day,
Hmm.
you're being stressed, you had an argument, I don't know what else, and when you're gonna get to the jam, you're gonna have amazing time, because you're gonna see your friends, your people, you're gonna dance with people, blah blah blah, and then you get to the jam, and the music sucks.
Oh God.
It's just like,
Wait a minute.
just kill me
Wait a
right
minute.
now here,
Yeah,
please.
the music sucks. The music really sucks. I can't deal with that music. You gotta get rid of the DJ. Put me on the turntable. I'll turn it out. Ugh.
Very that. Very
Yeah,
that.
but I mean, it's not just like it needs to be either party or something, but I would say even like people like us dancers just like go to practice, and many people, they just play totally random, uh I would
No,
say
no,
pop
don't do
songs,
that.
or
Wait
like
a
songs
minute.
that are on the
Don't do
radio, which I believe, I mean, some people might like it. Like, I totally get it, as we said, like,
that. Mhm.
thousand people, thousand tastes.
But
But
everything has to mean something, though.
yeah,
It has to, you know. And let's put it this way: the best DJs were once dancers. That's number one. Number two, back in my time, the clubs had resident DJs, so we knew we were going to have a good time. But because of how The economy is now, it's hard to hold a party for a certain amount of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So, what all of you are supposed to do, listen to what I'm telling you. What all of you are supposed to do, you're supposed to follow the DJ. That's what you're supposed to do. Not the club.
Yes.
You
Yes.
follow the DJ. That means you follow the music. That's what you're supposed to do. None of that, oh, well, the club is closed. It's right here. So I'm just going to do it. It's not no, no, no. That's not passion. Passion is you follow the music. You follow it. Now, we're lucky. In London, 40 to the floor, it's almost guaranteed
Yeah.
that every time you're in there, the music's going to be amazing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know? And
99.9%. Yeah.
exactly. Now, here it is. I went to the Ministry of Sound. You would assume that the night I went to the ministry was going to be amazing. It sucked. Just because it's this club. The club don't mean shit.
Yeah.
If the DJ's whack, it's whack. Period. If the DJ don't have flavor, subord, next.
Yeah.
And if the DJ doesn't know how to work the system, next. See, I grew up in a time where we're spoiled. If it's not clean, if the system's not clean, I couldn't care less if you're playing my jam. I'm not having a good time. I'm not. I'm not.
Mm.
That what are you doing? A bass should sound warm. It
Yeah.
shouldn't spit at you. It should sound warm. And unfortunately, we're spoiled with knowing what good sound is. So you search for that for the rest of your life. You know, um, that's why sometimes I really don't have really good experiences that way. You
Yeah.
know, Forward to the Floor did the best they could with their sound system.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
those guys played that if there even was an issue with the system, I didn't even care.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now, how many of you have been
It's
to
just
a
the
party?
vibe of it. It's just the vibe.
Exactly. Now you're gonna laugh at this real quick. How many people you been to a party that all the music sucked, and at this party they played a song that was your worst record that you can't stand, but when you heard it, you were like, "Thank God, something I can hear." That's happened to me. I hate that song. Uh-oh, uh-oh. The music was so bad at one party. When they played that shit, I was so grateful.
Yeah.
I was so grateful. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Things like that happen, man. They happen, and you just have to go. You can just got to shake your head and say, listen, I got to follow the DJ, man. I
Yeah.
can't take a chance on this anymore, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's so true. Like, yeah, I think we all we all should just take a or like make notes to try to understand the music a bit more than just, oh, it's just a song,
It's true.
but like try to maybe like get the emotion from it or something, because I can feel it from myself, like when I'm dancing to certain songs,
Hmm.
and I'm feeling, let's say, how the singer is singing, or like
Hmm.
if it's a man or if it's a female, like what's the flavor of the tone,
Hmm.
what they're talking about. It just gives me personally a
Hmm.
certain character as well,
You know what
because
the amazing thing is? You just said something very important.
mm,
When you kids listen to hip hop, I literally see the change like that. You're connected to it, You're like, mm, that's passion.
mm,
You know why? Because you're relating to what you hear. You're allowing whatever it is. Your wall is not closed. You're doing this. You have to be able to do that to all types of music. That's the key. Sorry to
that's
interrupt you, but that
no,
just
no,
came to
no.
me when you said that.
That's I feel like that's the key. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah. All right. We have last 9 minutes, and
Oh shoot.
I would like to
Questions?
uh, I would like to personally say, give a tribute to Floyd Chisholm,
Absolutely.
uh, who was the pioneer of hustle in the 70s, and unfortunately he died. He passed away a few days back. So uh,
Hmm.
rest in peace. And him, for people who don't know, Floyd uh, was an amazing, amazing dancer, and he kind of like formed the hustle. How did it actually? How does it actually looks like? With the lifts, with basically all these things. Him and his partner Nelly
Big time.
Cotto.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh, Please, let's make sure that us, our generation, we still give tribute, we still respect the people, and that we know who these people were,
hmm
and to give them their respect, because if they they don't do all these things, we're not dancing, unfortunately, what we are. So yeah, and I know you Archie know about the TV show that he actually won.
Yes, it was the Merv Griffin 1979 competition, and he was our superstar. He's the one that put New York City, Bronx, New York City on the map of the whole nation for that
Wow.
dance. Him and Nelly, those two. Then later on it was Eddie Vega,
Yeah.
and Eddie Vega did Star Search,
Yeah.
and New York became a real bam, 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 bam for
This
the
is the
whole
thing.
world.
I feel like lots of people like knows about Eddie from the
Hmm.
Starship, but
Hmm.
I just want to make sure that we still know who was Floyd,
And there's
because
another cat, Joseph. You're gonna find out about Joseph.
Joseph.
Joseph. Yep, you're gonna find out about Joseph. When you talk to Roma Irizarry, and if you talk to Maria Torres, she'll tell you about Joseph. Mm,
So
okay.
Floyd was the one who basically put like the hustle together, right?
Yeah, he was our Fred Astaire.
Oh,
That's what it was. He was our Fred Astaire.
wow,
That's what it was. That's what shifted everything.
wow.
Mhm. He was our Fred Astaire. Period.
It's so shame, uh, so sad that this actually happened, because I actually spoke to him few times about doing exactly this interview with him as well.
Oh man.
And I remember a really funny moment that we had, that we spoke, and I think, to be honest, I think it's a New York thing, that when you text someone, you just call, like, video call back.
Yeah.
And it happened to me already with New Yorkers a few times. It's really funny, and it was amazing moment. Like, we were just talking, like, if he's gonna be free in a week to talk about his journey, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, I'm just getting a video call for Floyd, and I'm like, I'm not sure if he's just like calling me like out of nowhere for his pocket, like he doesn't even know about it, or he's actually calling me. And I'm thinking, I'm in my message, I'm thinking, like, if I did say something wrong or something that, I don't know, pissed him off, that he needs to call me like that. And I'm like, okay. So I just pick up, and I'm like, hi. And he just like waiting on a train to go to his job, to his work, and he just telling me that he just wanted to ask like how I am, and that he is really happy that I want to have him on the show, and that he will, yeah, that he will really like to, like, he will be really happy to do it, but he just doesn't know when, because of the work and so
Mm.
on. And unfortunately, we couldn't we couldn't do it at the end. So yeah,
Well, there's a few names that all of you should know. You should know Smitty.
yeah,
You should
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah, because I'm pretty sure you probably told them all. But you should know Smitty. You should know Louis Orlando. You should know Beth Darcy. You should know John Boots. You should know Aldo. You should know Artie. You should know um, Di Nardone. You should know, naturally, you know Maria. Um, um, of the younger generation, oh, Billy and, what is Ver-
Veronica
Veronica? You should know
Castilla.
Veronica Castilla. You know, all of these people. There's a whole roster of people you should know. You know,
Yeah,
and the lines are open. You know, because usually what happened is that the younger people don't usually party where the older people are,
Mm.
because the older people don't go where the younger people are. You know, and in order to put the two together, if you ever get the opportunity, go to where the older people are. Check it out.
I think it's our kind of like job as well to go to them, right? Because why
Mm.
you as an older person would like go to where youngsters are, like you're gonna feel kind of like odd, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like we are the generation, or like the youngest one, who should make them feel comfortable to come to us, and we
Mm.
can go to you as well.
Mm.
So it should be like, and I feel like this is kind of like the how the connection
Yeah.
could be. You know what I mean? Because I
It's
feel
not
like,
adversarial. It's not adversarial, really. It's not, guys.
yeah,
It's not. Don't believe anything that you're hearing. It's not adversarial. Older people just don't go, ah, the younger representative, get the fuck out of here. They don't do that shit. You know,
yeah,
you know. They ain't got no time for that. They don't.
amazing. All right, Archie. That was obviously amazing to talking to you as always, and can't wait to see you in person and to dance with you.
Oh man, I can't wait. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And thanks a
I'm
lot
losing my
again
mind over here.
for being part of the family of the Hustle Fest. And it will be amazing to yeah, the moment when we all get together. I just can't wait.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks a lot again for your time, for talking to us about everything, and stay for everything. Obviously, we're gonna have a party. We're gonna have another classes. There will be Paul Pelican.